Welcome to Rapid Tech in 10, a short video series designed to give you practical tech takeaways in 10 minutes or less. I'm your host, Bri Scerpella, and I'm super excited to relaunch this series with you all. I cannot think of a better guest to kick things off today than Parker Nancollas, FinOps Practice Lead here at SoftwareOne. Parker, thank you for joining us. We got 10 minutes, so I'm going to jump right in. Usually start these off with something fun. So I'm going to throw you a little curveball here. I know you saw the question before, but favorite drink and how you got into this field or your role that you're in today.
Favorite drink, I would say any kind of tropical fruit juice.
Oh, okay.
So maybe an interesting one, but I love just a nice fresh juice. So
Love it.
how I got into this role. So my background is in finance and business, and I was in IT finance right when the FinOps Foundation started. And I learned about it very early on and read the FinOps book and just got hooked. And so I kind of shifted in that direction, started figuring out how to manage cloud spend, got really involved with the FinOps Foundation. I guess probably through the FinOps Foundation is kind of what led me into then SoftwareOne. And now I feel like I'm starting that experience again with AI. So it's fun to figure out how to do new things.
You read a book and it's all these really great insights and it feels like it's constantly changing. So FinOps is the topic of discussion today, and you guys just wrapped up the FinOps X conference in California. I know there was a lot of buzz again around AI, the costs that are associated with it. Token economics was a big piece, and then also optimization. And the Flexera State of the ITAM report actually just came out as well, which you probably saw, that states that 31% of IT leaders had accurate visibility into their AI software environment, which is a pretty small percentage in the grand scheme of things. So it makes having these partnerships with folks like SoftwareOne so much more critical. So my question to you with all that said is, for teams trying to make sense of all this, they're hearing these buzzwords, like how do they start thinking about AI in a way that feels manageable? Because it can be really tough.
Yeah, I think what people, maybe the incorrect mindset that people have that slows them down and makes things harder. And I see this, I've seen this in FinOps for a long time, but I definitely see this already in AI as well, is the feeling that you have to be perfect from the beginning. I'm not sure why people think that, but I think maybe they go to FinOps X and they see some more mature organization give a presentation on what they're doing, and it looks great, and they want to replicate that, but it feels hard. It's a lot to do right at once, right from the beginning. And so I always just think in FinOps we talk about crawl, walk, run. You have to start and crawl. You can't jump straight to run. And if you think of any new challenge, but managing AI spend in a crawl sense, what are the basics that you can do today? You might not be perfect, you won't be perfect, but there are things that you can do today. There is a first step that you can take that gets you a little bit more clarity than you have today, even if that's asking finance to give you a report on any AI related costs that have hit the general ledger last month. I mean, if you don't even have that information, that's a starting point. So that's kind of my big thing is, and we can get into more detail from there, but my big thing is just, what can you do now? Doesn't need to be perfect, but what's one step you can do?
And it sounds like partnering with your teams too, right? Making sure you're not operating in a silo and leaning on what they're good at, getting those reports with your finance team. Sometimes we kind of operate in our own vacuum. So that's a really good takeaway. Okay, before my second question, the buzzword of tokenomics has come up. So if you can, I'd love for you just to give a quick breakdown of what that means for our audience, because I know it can be very confusing as well.
Yeah, so tokenomics is just putting together the words token economics. And it's really just about understanding, measuring, and optimizing how tokens are consumed and billed. So I guess that would probably be my short, kind of to the point definition. It's the economics of a token, which is, you can think of that as kind of a unit of measure for AI workloads. It's the way usage and costs are tracked and billed, and we need to manage that and understand it and find ways to optimize it and create more value.
So talking about the cost and how these things are billed, more organizations are moving to this usage-based model and consumption-based billing. So what are the biggest cost drivers you're seeing when it comes to that?
It's interesting because compared to cloud FinOps, one interesting difference is the number of variables. So we often talked in FinOps about usage times cost. Like if we think about our cloud bill and how we optimize that bill, it's usage time cost. What are we using? What's the rate for that usage? And we can either change what we're using or change the rate. In AI, obviously those concepts still apply, but so do a lot of other variables. And so the big thing is, I mean, cost per token is something that you hear talked about a lot. And I guess the way I would answer this question is there are so many different cost drivers, more than just number of tokens, which is a common one that people think of, that you can't look at it in terms of the cost per token or really any other variable. You have to look at it in terms of business value. So just as an example, if you've got let's say you're trying to accomplish a certain task using AI, and you have two models you can use, and one of them, the cost per token is something, and the other one, the cost per token is half of the other one. So you might think, well, let's use that one that the cost per token is lower. But let's say that the more expensive one has a 90% success rate on the first prompt. You do one prompt and it's a 90% chance of success that it accomplishes what you wanted. Where the cheaper one, it takes maybe 3 prompts on average to get to that 90% success rate. So even though it's half the cost, it ends up costing 50% more because you have to run 3 different prompts to get to where you need to be. So it's a little bit hard for me at this point. Maybe give me 2 months because things change so rapidly. Maybe I'll have a different answer to this question. But as of right now, I'm having a little bit of a hard time with trying to manage things at an individual cost driver level. What I'm finding as more useful today is looking at not an individual cost driver, but the combined outcome and the combined business value that you're getting for what you're spending. So that's the way I prefer to think about it.
No, that's great. We'll have to take you up in 2 months and see if that answer shifts based on your interactions with other tech companies or customers. That's great. So we talked a little bit about the crawl, walk, run phase, and I know that is the foundation with everything we do. From a FinOps perspective, what does a well-optimized AI environment look like for somebody who might be in that, let's say, crawl phase?
Speaking of things changing in 2 months, it's hard to say what well optimized looks like today, because what it looks like today, if you think you're well optimized today, you might not be tomorrow. Yeah. So what I would say is it's not a matter of it's not a finish line. It's not we achieved it, now we're well optimized. I don't know if that's ever going to be the case. I think what's important is that it's a continuous improvement process. And so I don't know if there's any organization today that would consider themselves already well optimized. So maybe there's not even good examples to pull from, but there are definitely organizations who are on the road to managing their AI spend well. And so I think the key there is you need to understand what you're spending. You need to understand what that spend is being used for. And you need to have some way to tie that spend for a certain thing to the value you're getting for that same thing. If you can do that, then I would say while you might not ever be considered fully well optimized, you are on the road that's going to make sure that you continue to stay optimized.
And I think a lot of people need to hear that because they think they need to be in this position that they might not need to be in right now, right? It's taking that first step. It's doing something very simple and building on it versus having everything perfect, to your point earlier.
Yeah, and they're definitely, I mean, you can go in and probably find some easy waste that you can remove, but to say we are well optimized, I just think the target is it's not a fixed target. It's consistently moving, and you need
Mhm.
to stay on top of things to stay optimized, and you're always going to be tweaking and testing and thinking about how you might use different models, or something new comes out or a different pricing structure comes out. You have to stay on top of that as it's an ongoing process. Um so yeah, I think that's just what's more important. It's more about the process. Have the right process, the right governance in place, and you will be as optimized. That will help you be as optimized as you can be, even if it might not be perfect.
Perfect. You answered my last question. So I know in the essence and spirit of keeping it 10 minutes or less, we will wrap up. Parker, thank you for joining me today and for all of the honest and candid insights. If you guys are all interested to learn a little bit more about Parker's team and what he's doing here at SoftwareOne, our team is ready to talk with you. And if you're just here for the insights and to see what's going on, we ask that you follow SoftwareOne for more guidance. Parker also has a really great series that has come out with his team called FinOps Unfiltered. You can see that when you follow us here on LinkedIn. So again, really, really appreciate it. And from all of your friends here at SoftwareOne, thanks so much for watching.